Why has my credit score dropped? I didn't do anything differently than what I already have been doing. Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about 5 reasons why your credit score has dropped and what you can do to be able to protect yourself from making these kinds of mistakes with your credit cards. Let's get into that. Number 1 is missing a payment. You just want to make sure that you are keeping up with those payments because it can really drastically hurt your credit score if you miss just even one payment. You don't really have to sit around worrying about paying your credit cards or worrying about when is your balance due or all of these other complicated things. The credit card companies make it really simple. You're able to go into most of the credit card apps and just set up automatic payments, and then you can specify what amount you want them to pay. For instance, you can have them pay just the minimum payment, which will allow you to just pay the minimum balance, and then that will make it so that nothing is reported to the credit bureaus. You've done what you need to do. However, I'd suggest that you pay the full balance on that credit card so that you're not getting any sort of interest payment on your credit cards. And so if you set it up for paying off your balance in full every single month, then you don't really have to worry about it. It's just going to automatically pay off that balance every single month, and then you can rest at ease that your credit score is going to be perfectly okay. Pro tip, if this has happened to you and you've accidentally missed a payment, contact your credit card company as soon as possible. Sometimes if it's the very first time that you've done it, your credit card company may actually reverse that. Now, you want to make sure to do that as quickly as possible because typically 30 days after missing a payment is when it's actually going to be reported to the credit bureaus that, hey, Zach missed a payment. And you might want to put that on his credit score because, hey, he missed a payment once, he's going to miss a payment all the time. That just seems to be how they consider it because it does stay on your credit score for a while. Number 2 is the amount of credit utilization that you are using has changed. If you're typically using, let's say, 5% of your credit utilization, and then you decide to go out and buy something that you're not able to pay for right off the bat, and you're holding that balance on your credit card, and your balance on your credit card for the credit utilized goes up to, let's say, 50%, then now that's way over the amount that is suggested to keep it under. It's suggested that you keep it under 30% or less of your credit available to you. For instance, let's say you have $1,000 available to you. Well, 30% of $1,000 is $300. And so if you're going over $300 and you're keeping that on your credit card and you're not paying that off before it's reported, then now the credit card company is going to see, oh, wait a second, Zach is actually spending a lot more money than he was before, and he's not actually paying it off right away. And so that's something you want to take into consideration when you're using your credit card, to make sure to keep it under 30% of whatever your credit available to you is on that particular credit card. If you accidentally miss that, then that is something that could potentially hurt your credit score. In those cases, you just want to pay it down so it's not 30% or more of your credit, and then after that you should be fine. And number 3 reason why your credit score has dropped dramatically all of a sudden is that you closed a credit card. There's that credit card that you didn't like, or it was that credit card that got you in trouble because you kept spending money on it and now you just want to get rid of it. You want to chop it up like Dave Ramsey says. If you've now gotten rid of that credit card, you're doing a couple different things. One is 15% of your credit score is made up of your credit history. That means now you've canceled a credit card that had credit history on it, and that could potentially negatively impact that 15% of your credit score. It's also of note that now whatever amount of credit that was available to you is now no longer available to you. So if you had $2,000 available to you on that credit card you just canceled, then now you don't have that available, and so your overall credit that's available to you is actually going to go down, and that could potentially hurt your credit score. An alternative to this is if the credit card that you are considering closing, if it doesn't have an annual fee, consider potentially leaving it open, or contact the credit card company, the credit issuer, and ask them if there's a way that you can get upgraded to a better card that maybe would be more worthwhile for you, and a credit card that you might want to actually keep. And that way you're keeping your credit history with that credit card company, but you're not having to keep a card that you no longer want to have. Number 4 reason is that you actually just paid off a major loan. Like, let's say a mortgage for a home, or an auto loan, or a student loan. These are different things that you could pay off that are actually very high amounts of money that were loaned to you, but now that you paid them off, that also is going to drop off your credit score. And the reason for it is your credit is also made up of credit mix as well as credit history. Now that you've paid that off, you may not have that credit mix on your credit score anymore, and so it could potentially negatively impact your credit score. Now, the impact is probably going to be minimal, and it's always a good idea that if you're able to pay off, let's say like an auto loan or your student loan, those aren't really being of benefit to you, so you would just want to go ahead and pay those off as soon as you're able to, and it's not going to impact your credit score much for the long term. And number 5 is you recently applied for new credit. This is when you've gone out and you're looking for a new credit card, a new auto loan, a new mortgage, whatever the case may be. When you go and request these new lines of credit, it's something that they do what's called a hard inquiry, which is going to be something that stays on your credit report for the next 2 years. Now, this isn't something that drastically impacts your credit score, but it is of note that this is going to happen when you apply for new credit. Pro tip, when you go to apply for an auto loan or a mortgage, if you do that within a certain amount of time, your credit score not be hurt multiple times, but just that one time. If you do it in a short amount of time, they'll just consider it once. So these are just 5 things that you want to consider when it comes to your credit score dropping as to why maybe that happened. And I hope that that was helpful. If you found value out of this, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. And if you're looking actually for a credit card, then check out this video here where I talk more about one of my favorite credit cards. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Zach, helping you with your finances, and I'll see you over here.